Good afternoon and welcome to a rather chilly day. We've certainly got something that's going to heat things up. The Ora Funky Cat. It's fashionable, it's stylish, and it turns heads wherever we take it. I'm Ben Quirk, welcome to Planet Auto. Now I've been waiting months to drive this, and with good reason. Just look at it. It's got so many inspirations. It looks sporty, it looks modern, but at the same time it looks retro, which I think is a good thing. It's Chinese, but it's very German, and it's made by a company called Great Wall Motors. Now Great Wall have been around since the 1990s. Now you might be thinking, have I heard of that before? Well, if you bought any pickups in the last few years, well the likelihood is you probably have. They introduced something called the Steed. Jump forward to 2018 and GWM established their first brand for EVs, Ora. In the last 10 years, EV technology, especially coming out of China, has advanced at an astounding rate. I mean, just look at MG. Is that where Ora's heading? Does it tick all the boxes? Say reliability, safety, technology. It's certainly got looks down pat. It's going to be a design icon. I think that's the only way I can put it. You've got 18-inch wheels, you've got tech up to the 9, including adaptive cruise control, safety, including a monitor here that analyses and watches whilst you drive. Yeah, I know that does sound a bit 1984, but the bottom line is it keeps you safe. Ora themselves have dubbed this the Carpanion because Ora want you to relate to the car, connect to it on an emotional level. And it means that you can just literally say, Ora, I'm feeling a little warm, turn the heating down. As this is their first offering in the UK, there's one, the first edition. Now, I can't compare it to anything else because there isn't anything else. So the likelihood is you'll get different wheels, you'll get different trim parts, different interior, but for the time being, this is what you'll have on your drive. And to be honest, it's pretty damn good. It develops around 170 brake horsepower, pulls 0 to 60 in around 8.3, and it's got a 48 kilowatt hour battery. And yes, there's no heat pump and no water cooling, etc. Now, that equates to, say, 193 miles of range, but in this colder weather, we're getting, well, closer to 165. But it does seem to do mile for mile, but we'll take a deeper look at that when we go on our North Yorkshire jaunt tomorrow. We may only have one trim here. If you take a deeper look at the Chinese market, you'll see that they've got something called the GT. So the likelihood is we'll see that. There's also longer ranges too, so we'll get bigger batteries, and it's just going to evolve and evolve and evolve. Exciting times. And it's nice to be at the forefront of that EV technology. And in case you're wondering, yes, they have dabbled in diesels. They also offer hybrids, but it seems that their main point now is going to be EVs. Quite aptly, we've now got KB Bat, the Planet Auto Cat, and the Funky Cat in unison. Wonder how this would look in stripes. Now the fact that this is around 30k, I think that's extremely good value, especially when you get a 5-year warranty, which is unlimited mileage. You also get 8-year battery, 12-year perforation, etc, etc. And there is a decent rate on BIK. Now where do you start with styling? Well, it's design language. It's certainly what I'd class as retro German. The shaping around the lights. And they're not perfectly symmetrical. They look rather quirky. They're LED, yes, they're not matrix, but they've got a damn good throw. And to be honest, I think they make the design. Beautiful curves, the bubbly arches, even the sunken bonnet with the bulges. There's nothing that looks, I suppose, outrageous. The touches of chrome and this big chunky lip. It's also very well built. In Annabelle's words, it's got crisp, clean lines. And in case you're wondering, yes, that's Ora's logo. Sensors left, right and centre. AEB, collision mitigation. £30,000 car and a front camera. 18-inch wheels and a decent profile tyre, so it makes it rather comfortable. And you've got discs all round. Flared arches. Once again, it's all one panel. Because 9 times out of 10, you'd have a bonnet that was here. It's such a minimalist look, but at the same time, it's very memorable. And it turns heads wherever you take it. And if there ever was a car that suited two-tone, it's this. Aurora green with moonlight white. It's just very tastefully done. It looks sporty. You've got this slight lip that runs all the way around. There's only certain vehicles that can carry off such a simple, elegant design, and this is one of them. Now when it comes to colours, there's a fair old palette. You can change the interior, you can change the exterior. They've got things like nebula green. So it makes you wonder what we're going to see in the future. Power folding door mirrors with blind spot detection and keyless entry. And the lights come on. And as soon as you open the door, the funky cat bursts into life. You can literally put it in drive and go. Rather attentive. If you press this, there you go. So that's essentially what you can use if you open the door and you've not got the key in there. Just press that and it'll shut down the power. Lovely interior, including soft touches at the top. It's so well constructed, quilted. I suppose it's like a leatherette, stitching, and lovely padded areas. As for climbing in, child's play, literally. One thing that is missing, a driver's grab handle. Everything feels superb. It's premium, it's luxurious. Yeah, you will find hard plastics, but they're of a good quality. And above all, everything is really solid. This is where your driving modes are. Now this is an interesting place because normally you'd find it there or here. However, it's nice and simple to reach. You can adjust your headlamp height and you can release your boot. Ooh, solid. Already powered up, engage gear to drive. Hello Ora.
What's up?
Wow, oh, we've got this little like icon-y type dude. Whoa, it's typing what I'm saying. Look at the switch gear. It's like something out of an aircraft. It's so well executed. They've just brought everything together in a culmination of coolness. It's as beautiful inside as it is outside, if not more. Quilted seats, stitching two-tone, and fully electric on the drivers and the passengers. You can see at 6'3", I've got absolutely no problem. The seat's supportive, it's comfortable, and headroom, I've got, I think it's about 2 inches. Great driving position, you can adjust reach and rake, and it can zoom, and really easy to just get in and drive. Literally, twiddle the dial, off you go. Driving modes, you've got sport, you've got normal, and you get things like that. I know it's gimmicky, but I don't care. Eco and auto. Unlike other EVs, as soon as you put things like the heaters on, it doesn't drink 30 miles of range. As soon as you hit this, your fan flow, speed, etc, etc. This is where your vents are. They're not dust traps. That's a bit, my voice went a bit. Cup holders down here, and you even get first edition plaque. USBs, 12 volt, and a lockable glove box. The infotainment, yeah, no rotaries. But you can control it with the buttons on the steering wheel. It's responsive and it's quite easy to use. Once you've opened something in the infotainment, you can then scroll back through it. Ooh, skill tree. It's like a skill set on a game. RPG Ora cat. Nice sound system. You can set some of the car settings, and of course you get Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. DAB. So you get things like Deezer, Reuters, RadioOnline.com. You can see your power assistant as well. And of course it doubles as a 360 camera, and you can change the view. And it shows that Ora are putting their money where their mouth is by including this kind of tech on a vehicle that essentially starts at 30 grand. Hello Ora.
I'm listening.
Can I close my window please?
Closing driver area.
See, I didn't even say it correctly and she knew what I was on about. Auto dimming mirror, and you've got some map reading lights up here. And finally a sunglasses holder. Now one of the most appealing things about this vehicle is the two-tone in the interior. It's all trimmed. That's like old school builds. Now the one thing that is missing, and we hope that we'll see it as an option, is a panoramic. Its proportions look rather impressive. A wheel at each corner, meaning you get great handling. Certain vehicles, when you stick 4 doors in them, they look a little ungainly, whereas this carries it off nicely. Look at that line. Now when it comes to charging, it'll home charge, it'll type 2, and it will rapid, and I think it's up to about 100 kilowatt. Nice construction and rubber bungs. Decent sturdy door too, but there doesn't seem to be any illumination. Let's take a look in the rear. The door opens nice and wide, and yeah, hard plastic, but this is padded, and you've got the quilted insert and an electric window. Climbing in, it looks to be a decent opening. Well, that was nice and easy, and I didn't really need to dip my head, which is quite surprising for a car of this size. Now, one thing I have noticed is I am a little raised up, so I might have to drop a little lower so I can see out the window, otherwise I do catch the edge of this. The thing is, it's not a big car, and it is in a format of 2 seats. Lots of leg room, considering this is set at 6'3". That's rather impressive, and I can get my feet under the seats, and I do have a grab handle. It's roomy, it's airy, and if you've noticed, the roof arcs up so it maximises headroom. That's clever. The rear seat's not too upright, it's comfortable. These are rather supportive, and they're quite plush too. All in all, it's a nice experience. Reduced transmission tunnel, charging point. Now if I sit right back, wearing my woolly hat, it does brush ever so slightly, but generally it's pretty good. It's light and airy, especially with that light headliner. I'd be happy to go on a long jaunt in the rear of here. Now the one thing that does let it down, no rear light, which seems a strange omission. Airbags around the vehicle, ISOFIX points. Now, rather impressed. Let's take a look at the rear. Now the light's starting to close in a little. However, that's the perfect time to demonstrate this. I call it Cylon. Yeah, there's so many things that pique your interest on this vehicle. Sporty rear spoiler in two-tone. Now for the rear, you'll either love it or hate it. I think it suits the model. I mean, that's its party trick. Nothing's going to beat that, even though it has got parking sensors and a reversing camera. It's chunky and, well, flared. But that gives it, I suppose, its presence. Let's take a look in the boot. So the release is here. You can also open it with the key, and there's a button on the door too. This is the lip of all lips. It's a bit cliff-like. I don't quite know why either. And it's not really the biggest. I mean, you'll still get a week's shop in it, and a biggish suitcase, or maybe 2 small ones. But I suppose when you look at a car like this, it's not the kind of thing where you're going to be going on a family holiday. It's more for nipping to the shops, having fun. You know, being your fashionable self. Light here, and you've got some shopping bag hooks. Ah, they've even got a weight limit on. Maximum 3 kilograms.
That's well Janino, didn't it?
Oh. I'm going to dub that the micro parcel shelf. Ding! It even fits in the boot. The first aid kit. Very German. Extra storage, inflation kit. Quite roomy. Drop in the seats. Simplicity. Pull this up. And that certainly increases the space exponentially. Quite easily get a mountain bike in there. Look how funky this is. First edition too. Let's pop the bonnet. The release is just here. So you'd have pushed left. No frunk, but it is easy to see where you top up fluids. Looks very electric. Surprising that. Nice weight, not too heavy. Welcome aboard the Ora Funky Cat. We've got a 48 kilowatt hour battery and an electric motor, and it develops around 170 brake horsepower. Now this is what you might call tech loaded. I mean, I can feel it steering for me now. It seems to be, well, up there with say
Clear.
50 grand tech.
Did that just growl at you then? It holds the road really well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's what you might call planted, but that's due to its weight, isn't it? I think it's about 1.5 tons or 1,500 kilos, which is quite a bit for a small family car, but it comes with the territory. When you get that, you get excellent handling. The one thing you might notice is the steering is a little light, but that depends on what you've been driving. Because I've read reviews and oh, it's very light steering. Now I'm used to it. It feels well balanced, to be honest. It's nice and direct, and I get great feedback. We can just glide around these corners. It's so much fun. Luckily, it's not as cold as it was last night because it was brassic. The thing is, it didn't really affect the range as much as I thought it would. I used about 5 miles to go to Carnforth, and it's 4, and I had the heaters on. I think it claims around 200, but because it's cold, you're going to lose 30 or 40 anyway.
And that's it, with that wind chill it's been taking, it's like -5 levels, isn't it?
Yeah. But the thing is, if you put it in eco, the range will do a lot further than you actually think it will. It's premium throughout, isn't it, Annabelle? I mean, the construction, there's no squeaks, there's no rattles, there's no bangs. It's just, well, a refined drive.
Making it a smooth ride.
Well, it's won awards in Germany. What does that tell you?
Ah, see, the Bavarians know what they like.
Yeah. Drivetrain. Well, 1 speed, very easy to operate, rotary dial down here and 2 pedal system. Now one thing that is missing is any way to actually change the regen level. So there's no paddles button. Instead, you've got the driving modes. But it seems to do it adaptively anyway. So if you're coming up to things, it seems to detect it. Like now, it seems to think, actually, it's a good time to regen. And you can see the green bar in the cluster going up.
Well, it's quite an intuitive system then, isn't it?
It is. Decent visibility throughout as well. No blind spots to speak of either. But you've got blind spot detection, and it will detect if you're opening the door and there's a car coming behind. Safety wise, this is tech loaded, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You've got collision mitigation, you've got points where it'll take over the steering if it thinks something's afoot. 4-way traffic lights. Thing is, in an electric car, it's not going to affect your range. We can just sit here and we know we're not guzzling petrol. So we set off with 150 miles and we've used 1. I mean, granted, it is 7 degrees, so you'll keep your range far longer anyway. You can hear that sci-fi noise. That ramps up when you go in slower speeds. And yes, electronic handbrake, but you've got hill start assist. So let's go into a little more depth with the safety. So you've got AEB, you've got collision mitigation, you've got adaptive cruise control for your convenience, and with stop go and all types of things. It's pretty damn advanced. The cluster's lovely. It's what you might call straightforward. You can even see the vehicles around you. So I can see the vehicles parked on the right. I can see that I've got this van in front of me, and then it'll also show vehicles coming towards us as well. So it's permanently aware. Got 2 little haptic buttons on the steering wheel. If I press this one, the camera, wow. In sport, it's way more responsive.
Which is great because it means you can get out of trouble if you need to, put out of junctions easily.
Well, that's why I think auto is the best suited, isn't it? Because it gives you enough power, but it also gives you efficiency too. I've only used 3 miles. What is it, 6?
Yeah.
Tyre noise. You will get a bit if you get a rough bit of motorway, but if you get somewhere nice, it's rather quiet.
But it is very refined in here, isn't it?
It is. I was happy it had narrow dimensions then.
Yes.
Let's put it in sport mode. See what it's made of. You can feel the difference as well through the pedal. If I blip the throttle, it just goes. When you're coming up to vehicles in front at, say, traffic lights, the vehicle will just scrub the speed off the road, but whenever they back off, I don't need to brake, so this just brakes for me. And I must stress, that's not in adaptive. You can feel the lane keep assist. You certainly keep a hand on it. The thing is, it's not too overzealous either, so that's great. What I'm trying to work out is if the regen changes in various modes. So Eco tends to coast. Auto does as it pleases, which is good. Also, I am beginning to think it might have some kind of GPS tracking that reads that, actually, that bend's a bit tight, I'm going to scrub a bit of speed off. Yeah, it is. It's brought us down to the limit. I'd go as far as to say the regen's adaptive, and I don't think it matters which mode you're in. As for suspension and ride, it doesn't feel numb. It gives you a nice, comfortable ride, but it still feels nimble, agile. It looks so retro yet modern. It's practical, it's versatile, it's got a great price.
It's there to be part of your lifestyle, to be a friend of the family or even part of the family.
Well, they've even mentioned that some of its design language makes it look like an animal, so you bond with it.
Well, we're going to love it anyway because it's called a cat, isn't
Well,
it?
exactly. Funky cat. You get 1 chance to put your name across it. Plus, you've got to remember, Annabelle, you get a 5-year warranty with unlimited mileage.
Wow. They really have a lot of faith in this car, haven't they?
Yeah, they
going
do.
Forward.
They're sailing along at 50. It's pleasant, isn't it?
It's so smooth.
Look at this. Fantastic. Drive one.